Okay, I think we should just go ahead and get started. If some people want to join late, I'll just admit them at that time. And since this is being recorded, I could probably just send this to them later. So the purpose of the call is to go over the what players receive. Oh, wait, somebody wants to join. Okay. So yeah, the purpose of this call is to go over what players receive when the coaches send them um, the stat sheets from the StatVolley website. Let's admit a couple people. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. We'll go over it, and then if you have any questions, just feel free to put your hand up, and I'll answer them when as they come up. Okay, let's see, share. Share. Okay. All right, so hopefully everybody can see that. So what I've done is rather than showing the statistics from our team, I took some stats on the men's University National Championship from this past year. So it's the University of Alberta versus Saskatchewan. So with our team, I send individual stat sheets. Now with the application, of course, you can send the complete stat sheet, and I may send that out from time to time. But for the most part, I'm just going to be sending out the players' individual stats. So in this example, we have this is an example of what you would see when I send out the stat sheets from a match. And the player that we're looking at is Isaac Haslinga, who's a player who played for the University of Alberta this past season. So you'll receive an email, typically with a link that will bring you to a page that looks like this. So with each one of the metrics on your stat sheet, you can click on them and it will show you clips from those individual skills. For example, Isaac in the match against Sherbrooke had 6 kills. So if we were to click on that, it would show you all the plays where he had his kills,
Okay,
right?
thanks.
Sorry, was there a question?
You released and had a note about StatVolley. It's like their new stat.
Sorry?
Well, it's for all the players so that they know what they're like, help them with their stats issue.
Yeah, like there's two
By the
different
coaches,
ways. Yeah, there's two different ways that
but
you
then
can.
they get it all each. Yeah, I understand.
Gene, are you talking to me or are you talking to somebody else?
No,
Hello? Okay. As I was saying, so when you click on the 6 kills, it will show you all the plays where this player had a kill, and you can click on the individual timestamps to jump to the individual plays. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back to the stat sheet. Oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to go through what each of the metrics are. So the first column is obviously the player's name and his shirt number. The second column, the kills column, I think everyone who's on this call probably knows what a kill is. It's when a player attacks and scores a point. The next column would be continues. So what that is when the player attacks, um, but the team's able to recover it and continue playing. An error in this case is if the player hits out into the net, is on the net, or gets blocked. Some teams don't count blocks as errors, but in this application, we do. Next, you have the percentage. So that's the percentage of balls that the player actually killed in the match in this case. Efficiency is total number of kills minus the errors that the person had divided by the total attacks. So that's the metrics that most coaches are the most interested in because you could have a high percentage of kills, but if you have a high percentage of errors as well, you're going to have a low efficiency. Then we have the total number of attacks. Okay. And just like with the kills, if you click on either one of these or any of these, it'll take you to um, a montage of those plays. So if I were to click here, it would show all of Isaac's all his attacks, right? If you look at this number here over top of the listing of all the attacks, there's only 12 plays because obviously this particular player had gotten set at least twice in one of those plays, or not at least twice, but twice. Okay. Next, we have serving. So what the serves, an S4 would be if the player served an ace. And that's actually, in order to understand the serving, you have to understand reception first. So let me skip over to reception. So a perfect pass to the setter where they have three options to set would be an R3 or a 3. If they have two options to set, that would be an R2. If they only have one option, or if it's an overbump, the receiver passes the ball over the net, they get an R1. If they get aced, it's a 0 or an R0. Now, the average is out of 3. For our team in particular, our goal is to pass over a 2. In this situation, you could see that Isaac passed a 3. He only passed 2 balls because I didn't take stats on the full match. This is only, I believe, when I took the stats on this, I did the first set and maybe 10 points into the second set. Right? So you have the reception average, and then you have the total number of receptions. So now let's jump back to the serves. So what the serves are, the ratings for the serves are basically the inverse of the passing. So if you served an S1, for example, that means the opponent passed a 3. If you served an S2, that means the opponent passed a 2. If you served an S3, that means that the opponent passed the 3. Okay, if you served an S4, that means the that you got an ace, right? S0 is obviously a misserve. Does anybody have any questions on that? Like, I think my team should be fairly familiar with these concepts. But if anyone has any questions, let me know. No? Okay, moving on. So with the stats, you can also um, filter the stats by the set. Okay, so if you click the all button, it shows the stats for the complete match. If you just want to see what the stats were for the first set, you just click on set 1 and it will show you what the stats were for the first set. Set 2, it'll show you what the stats were for the second set. Now, you're doing the sets, that only filters the stat sheet itself. It doesn't filter all this stuff down here. Now, if you forget what things are, you can just put your mouse over them and it should explain it to you. Okay. I just have a list of things that I want to get through, so let me just cross off the things that I've gone through. So the expectation for our players is that you not only look at your positive plays, but we expect you to be looking at your errors as well, because you learn more from looking at your errors than you do from looking at the things that you do well. Okay. So again, for our team, attacking, we're looking for an efficiency. Let's go back to all. For efficiency, we're looking for anywhere between 30 to 40%. For percentage, attack percentage, we're looking for anywhere between 30 to 40%. For efficiency, we're looking for around 20%. For reception as a team, I think I mentioned this, we're looking for um, anywhere between 2 and 2.2, 2.3, ideally. For serving, we're looking for a percentage or an average of about 2. Okay. Now, when we go down a little bit, you'll see a clip that says, or you'll see a link that says all clips from this match. Now, clicking that, what that's going to do is it's going to show you the complete match with all the timeouts and the time in between plays eliminated. So if we would click on that, again, it shows you all the plays from the match. Okay, and if you understand the codes, you could type in here to filter the list of information, right? Now, because the codes are not something that a normal person can read, you can click the translate button and it will quasi translate it into English. Right. So if you click that, okay. So in the first play, you can see that number 2, Bryce, received his reception rating was a 2 for this particular play. Sam set him a P15. I'll explain what that is later. And then Isaac had a kill to zone 6. Okay. You'll also notice that there's a score link. Now, what that'll show you, if the stats are taken properly, it'll show you what the score is at that point in the match. Okay. Now, it shows what the score is before the play happened. So we click here. At the start of this play, because there's only been one play so far, the score was 1-0 for Alberta. Right? If we click on the next one, it updates. It was 1-1. Okay. Any questions on that? So let's go back. Okay, the next thing that we want to look at is zone placement by percentage. Now, the court, StatVolley breaks the court up into 9 different zones when it comes to attacking. So where the attacking or, sorry, ball placement. So whether that be serving or attacking. So in this case, if we want to look at Isaac serving, select Isaac from the list, and it will show where the majority of his balls are being served. Obviously, the darker color, the more often the ball is being served there. Okay. The next thing that we want to look at is attacking zones. So again, we would select the player, but this time it works a little differently. Once you select the player, it shows the type of sets that he hit in this match. Okay. So we have P15, P12, P83. Those are the types of sets that this player has hit during the match. Again, I'll explain what those numbers mean. But for now, just know that a P15 is a high ball outside in position 4. A P12 is a shoot in position 4. And a P83 is a pipe ball. So in that case, we can click on the P15 and see where he's hit all those balls. Okay. We can also click on the number to see a video clip of those attacks. So for example, he hit a P15. He put one here, which is short to 2 because this is the net. So if we were to click on that, it would show a video clip of that play. And it shows the complete clip. Isaac is number 17. So I don't know if you can see that or if it's too slow. Many tips there. Okay. Let's go back. Okay. So what do these numbers mean? P15, P12, and P83, for example. Basically, this is based on the old school numbering system. Like before there were shoots and high balls and things like that, the way they determined what a set was the net was divided into 7 zones from 1 to 7, with 1 to 5 being in front of the setter, and the last two, 6 and 7, were the positions behind the setter. So the first number refers to the net, the location along the net, and the second number refers to the height of the ball over top of the net. So if you have number one out here, two, three, four, five, then 6 and 7, a 15 would be a high ball in position 4. A 51, which we still use in our practices anyway, would be a quick ball in the middle, right? And a 31 would be a shoot to the middle. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the numbering system or the types of sets? Okay. Okay. So there's a few other things on this page that you get sent that are kind of more or less for the coaches. They're included in your stat sheet as well, but it's more something that a coach will look at if they're taking stats or metrics on another team. So one of them is it listed on here? Yeah, side out tendencies. Okay. So if you go to side out tendencies and click the drop down, you could select your team or the opponent if you were taking stats on your opponent, and it'll show you this window. And what this window will show you is what teams tend to run off of serve receive in the various positions. So position one means that the setter's in obviously in position one. Okay, and if you were to click on that, it'll show you what they're running in that situation. Okay, and if you go down and select perfect pass, it shows you what they run on a perfect pass. Like because I've only done one one set, maybe 10 points, there aren't going to be a lot of numbers in here. But over, a full match, you can see the tendencies of what a team is running. So with each rotation, it's going to show you as well the last 5 plays, because this is meant to be looked at in real time. It's included in the stat sheet that gets sent to players just for information purposes. But in a game, you could be taking stats on a team, and when the setter's in position 2 and we're serving, we know what they tend to run. And we can also click on the last 5 plays to see a video of what they ran. And that last setter was in that position. Okay, see the setter's in 2. Okay, and you can do that for all the rotations. Okay, on our team, we only send out individual stat sheets. Um, but on some other teams, they may end up just sending the full stat sheet to their players. Okay, so we could have a look at that. Okay, so here's an example of what would be sent out um, if your coach had decided to send the full stats to his team. You'd be able to see it's very similar to the individual stat sheet, but you would be able to see all the players' metrics and click on all their metrics. Okay, so it's very similar. Okay. One of the differences is that when you send the team stats out, you get to see what the team cumulative stats are as well, right? Where that's something that you don't see on the individual stat sheet. Okay. So actually, let's go back to the individual stat sheet for Isaac. Oop, here we go. Okay, so there are some other search features that are on the stat sheet as well. So you can basically break down you can basically make a look at a montage of all the types of touches that a player has in a game. So, for example, let's go to Isaac if we wanted to see all his kills when the setter is in rotation one in the first set. I don't know if there's going to be any of these, but you click it. No, he doesn't have any. But basically, you can break it down to see as detailed, or you can, how would I describe it? You can filter the search to look for exactly what it is that you want to see. Now, we're not going to get into the code search because that's a little bit advanced and it's more for coaches. But you can also search by player, by attack. So again, get Isaac. Let's see all the high balls to position four. Say you just wanted to see the errors, you click that, and it would show you all his clips where he hit a high ball in position four, where he had an error. Okay, there. Oh, one other thing, when you get sent your individual stat sheets, you can see your cumulative stats for the year, right? So you would go to this button here, click that, and it's going to show you your cumulative stats. So this here would be your cumulative stats for the year. And if you click on either one of these, it'll show you your stats for that particular game. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to go over was the practice videos or the practice stats. So with StatVolley, you can either stat your matches, you could stat your training matches, or you could stat your practices. Now, if the coach were to take stats on the practice, it won't, the stats taken in practice don't roll up to your cumulative match stats. Like that's a separate one that the coach sees that doesn't get sent to you. Okay, let's go to a practice. Okay, so the players on my team, the way we do our practices is we don't take individual stats in the practice. So we record all of our practices. And then what I do is I break down the practice by drill. So you'll get a stat sheet that looks like this. Most of you have already seen this, but there will be no stats in here. In this situation, what you need to do is you need to click on all clips from this practice. Let's turn the volume off. And then it'll show you all the drills that we've run in the practice. So if you wanted to, I don't know, say you wanted to look at when we did the drill hitters against the world, opposite and outside hitters, you would click that and it would show you that portion of the practice when we were doing that drill. Now, my expectation is not that players go through and watch every single practice, but I would like you guys to go through and look at specific drills, working on skills that you want to improve on, right? So if you're having problems hitting quicks and we were doing hitters against the world and it was the middle blockers, let's see. So you would click on this and then you could watch yourself in that drill, right? Middle blockers, you could take a look and see, okay, here are the things that I'm doing wrong. Okay. So that's basically all that I had to share with you guys. Um, does anybody have any questions on what we've gone over? Because if not, this is going to be a pretty quick meeting.
Question about positions.
Sorry?
I have a question about positions. Uh, so position two, is that zone two when it's like when the setter is in zone two, or is it after the first rotation? Assuming position one is zone one, is
Okay.
position two when they move to 6?
Okay, no, so for the setter, for the rotations, when the coaches are taking stats or the scouts are taking stats, it's the position, the zones, the attacking zones, and the positions of the setter are two different things. So the position of the setter is just like the regular rotations in a volleyball game, where there's only six,
Okay.
right? With one being the serving position, two being the position just before serving, three, middle front,
Huh.
four. So yeah.
Okay.
And then the zones are only for serves and attacking.
Okay. And we're not keeping track of assists, right? I
No,
think
we're
that
not.
was.
No,
Okay.
no, we don't take track of assists. What setters should be looking at is the attacking percentage of the team, because most likely, one of the things I'm considering is even if the regular or the rest of the players aren't getting the full stat sheets, I'm probably going to send at least the hitting percentages and attacks to the setters, so they can go in and they can see, okay, well, when I'm setting position four, we're scoring at this percentage. If when I'm setting this, we're scoring at that percentage. Because I think the setters need a little bit more information. And we may, after talking with the coaches, we may end up just sending out the full complete stat sheets to everyone. That hasn't been fully decided yet for our group. Did that answer your question, Richard?
Thanks. Yep.
Okay. Did anyone else have any questions? Great. If anyone has any questions at a later time, you can just email me or send me a text message. Or if you're somebody who's on our team, then yeah, you can just approach me in practice. Now, I guess the question that I have for everybody who's on my team, um, is are you guys getting the practice stats? Is there anybody who, because I've sent out a few already, so I just want to make sure that everyone is getting them. So if everyone who's on my team can just let me know now, just speak up and let me know if you're getting them. Logan?
I got all of them except for the one from last practice, but I'm not sure if you sent that one out yet.
Yeah, I haven't sent that one out yet.
All right, I got them all there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been getting all of them, but this recent one.
Okay, yeah.
I have been getting them all as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think everyone is getting them. The expectation, like I said, is not for you to watch the full practice, but at least watch one or two drills in particular in regards to things that you want to improve on. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Because if not, I think we can wrap this up early and count this as probably the shortest Zoom meeting in the history of Zoom meetings. Okay. If no one has any questions, I want to thank you all for coming out and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good
Bye.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you, coach.
You're welcome.
You coach.
You're welcome. Oh, somebody sent me a chat.